Hi, my name is Tony. Welcome to my story, deeply personal and most of all, very liberating. There was a time in my life when I felt like I had it all together, especially when it came to my hair. It was long, thick, and radiant, flowing just past my middle part of my back, full of life and glory. My hair wasn't just hair, it was a statement, a crown I didn't even realize I was wearing. I was in my late 20s then, caught in the rhythm of weekly hair appointments, the chatter of salon life and the unspoken pride that came with a full, healthy head of hair. Back then, it wasn't trendy to wear it straight, but mine. It shined regardless. I thought I had time. I thought it would always be there, but then life, unruly and uninvited, swept in like a storm. My relationship began to fracture, slowly at first, then all at once. Suddenly, the security I knew, emotional, financial, even physical, vanished. I found myself moving from one unstable situation to the next. Stress clung to me like a second skin. I was trying to be a mother, a provider, a woman in crisis all at once. And in the chaos, I didn't notice what I was losing until it was gone. My hair began to fall out. Long strands at first, then clumps. I went to my trusted hairdresser, hoping for encouraging news. Surely she could salvage what was left. Sadly, but gently, she confirmed what I feared most. There was little she could do. My hair had broken off. The volume was gone, and the life it once had withered away under the weight of my struggle. This may sound superficial to some, but for many Black women, our hair is more than aesthetics. It is identity. It is power. And for me, it was few things I felt I had control over, until I didn't. As my hair disappeared, so did my sense of self. Depression wrapped itself around me. I couldn't see it at the time, but I was grieving. Not just my hair, but the woman I used to be. There were days I didn't know what I'd feed my children. Nights I cried in silence so they wouldn't hear. I wore wigs and weaves, not out of vanity, but out of a desperate need to feel whole. I thought once, I found stability, got a job, a car, eventually an apartment. Maybe my hair would come back. Maybe I would come back. I wore fake smiles and heavy silence. As my hair disappeared, so did the woman I thought I was. Piece by piece, strand by strand, my identity unraveled. What clung to my scalp was nothing compared to what depression clung to in my soul. I didn't recognize it back then, but I was deep in mourning, not just for my hair, but for her. The version of me who once felt beautiful, secure, unstoppable. The woman I believed I had to be to survive. There were days when dinner was a question mark. My children, hungry for hope while trying to hide my own emptiness. Nights became battlegrounds of silent tears, muffled sobs behind closed doors. Because a strong mama doesn't break. At least, not where her babies can see. I wore wigs, weaves, ponytails, not to impress anyone, but to camouflage the collapse happening inside me. It wasn't vanity. It was survival. A desperate attempt to glue back the pieces of a self-image that had shattered. And still, I clung to a quiet hope that if I could just find my footing again, secure a job, buy a car, sign a lease, maybe my hair would come back. Maybe I would come back. Maybe I'd catch a glimpse of that confident woman in the mirror again. But what I didn't know then was that the return I was waiting for wasn't physical. It was spiritual. What I found was something deeper. Peace. Not the kind you wear, but the kind you live. I leaned into my faith, and through it I was reminded this life with all its broken pieces is still mine to build. My children grew strong and successful. I rebuilt a life that looked nothing like the one I had before, but it was mine. I met love again, and I discovered joy that came from within, not from how I looked. And now, I smile when I see young women with long flowing hair, not with jealousy but with a quiet grace. I've worn that crown, and though it's no longer on my head, it remains in my heart and spirit. So to every woman who has suffered loss, whether of hair, hope, relationships, or dreams, know this: what you lose doesn't define you. What you rise from does. Today, I bury the sadness. I eulogize the girl who needed her hair to feel whole. And I celebrate the woman who found purpose without it. Live boldly, love fiercely. Walk like your crown still swings down your back.
Moving Parts Urban Stories presents the finest in relevant storylines for the urban community. There will always be a message to build on and spark meaningful dialogue. Thank you for joining us. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe.